Hello everyone, and welcome to my video where I will discuss a potential rework for everyone's least favorite tank, Torvald. So, a while ago, it was mentioned that the developers over at EvilMoji were thinking of making Torvald into a point tank with some kind of barrier. The big Season 3 patch comes, and Torvald did get a number of changes, but the most notable ones were buffs to his Bubble Bot playstyle. Changes like lowering the cooldown of protection and increasing its uptime. Now, I don't play a lot of ranked, but apparently this made Torvald a must-pick in that mode. Because of this, Torvald was recently nerfed pretty harshly, where his protection shield health was lowered from 1000 to 500, essentially destroying the one thing he's good at. Many people in the Paladins community call Torvald a bubble bot, who is unfun to play as or against. My rework idea aims to tackle both of these issues. When I do rework concepts, I try to make changes without removing the character that many may have fallen in love with. So for this rework, Torvald will only be losing one ability, but not entirely, with the addition of his new passive. Like my previous rework videos for Overwatch, I will talk the statistics of each ability first, and then give my reasoning afterwards. Let's begin. Torvald's base health will be changed from 3000 HP and 2000 shields to 4000 normal HP. Torvald will have a new passive ability called Recharge. Dealing damage with Nullify grants you a personal shield capping at 1000 bonus shield. The bonus shield HP is affected by Wrecker. Going off of that, Nullify will now generate 250 personal shields per second when dealing damage. Protection will have its health increased from 500 to 650. And last up, the old Recharge will be replaced with a new ability called Runic Barrier. Torvald targets an area on the ground up to 100 units away and deploys a 3250 HP shield at the targeted location. The shield has a cooldown of 12 seconds and lasts for 5 seconds. Torvald's primary fire and ultimate will not be touched. HP. Torvald's health is actually being lowered to compensate for his new barrier and passive ability. You will still be able to grant Torvald up to 750 bonus HP with loadout cards. Protection. Protection in its current state feels like a joke. 500 HP. That's not even a single Cassie shot. With the devs making Protection's health so low, it almost mandates the player to use the Thanks Grandpa talent if they want the ability to be useful, which in turn promotes the Bubble Bot playstyle. I do really like the recent direction taken with Protection, by lowering the HP and allowing for more frequent, smaller uses. However, the ability is called Protection and, well, it doesn't feel like that right now. Upping that HP to 650 matches the damage of one shot from Cassie, Tiberius, and Isamani, which in turn should help the ability feel like actual protection from your tank. When we get to talent reworks later, you will notice that there will be no talent revolving around Protection. This is to avoid the Bubble Bot playstyle. Runic Barrier. Since we already have a few barrier tanks, I wanted to think of something unique for Torvald. We have Ashe and Barrick who place their shields on the ground in front of them, and we have Khan, Fernando, and Makoa being the shield themselves. What we don't have is a deployable shield that can be placed almost anywhere. Well, I mean, we got Anara's wall, but allies can't shoot through it, so... Anyways, 100 units matches the same deploy range as Grok's totem. I opted for a smaller shield with lower health than average, since Torvald will be able to place the shield far away from him. Here's a picture of how big I think the shield should be. Barrick's shield is being used as a reference here. The shield will have a 5-second uptime which matches that of Barrick's. Having a shield like this will allow Torvald to cover certain flank angles or to cut off a sniper sightline. Alternatively, Torvald will still be able to shield his allies even if he isn't directly next to them. Recharge/Nullify. Honestly, the Recharge passive was the last thing to come to mind when thinking of this rework. What made me decide to go through with it is that Torvald will say, "Charging up," when using Nullify, which makes zero sense to me. The bonus shield HP is more so a callback to Torvald's current design as opposed to something new entirely. I decided to cap the bonus shields at 1000 as we already have Rom, who is a tank that gains bonus HP. Unlike Rom though, This version of Torvald will do a lot more than just shooting enemies, hence the lowered bonus health. I decided for Nullify to grant 250 shields a second. This would make the shields cap at 500 in one use of Nullify. If Torvald players want more consistent ways to cap out their bonus shields, they will have to invest in some of the new loadout cards, which we'll get to right now. Card changes, starting with protection cards. Hearth Warder. Bonus shields lowered from 75 per level to 40 per level. Life Giver. New effect. Grant yourself and your target 4% lifesteal per level for 4 seconds. Now for Nullify cards. Arcane Etching. New. Generate 4% more shields per second when casting Nullify. Infusion. Increase the duration of Nullify by 0.1 second per level. Moving on to the new Runic Barrier cards. Conduction. Reduce the cooldown of Runic Barrier by 0.6 seconds per level. Eldritch Speed. Passing through Runic Barrier increases the movement speed of you and your allies by 8% per level for 4 seconds. Induction. Increase the deploy range of Runic Barrier by 20% per level. Vital Grasp. Heal for 60 health a second per level for 3 seconds after activating Runic Barrier. And last up, one card change for the armor/weapon section. Glyph of Siphoning. Shield health lowered from 100 per level to 60 per level. All the card changes are on the screen now. Feel free to pause the video if needed. Okay, let's explain these card changes. Let me start with the flat nerfs to Hearth Warder and Glyph of Siphoning. Since Torvald will be more active in the fight, it will be aggravating for his bonus health to suddenly spike in a duel. This is especially true with Hearth Warder, as protection only has a 6-second cooldown. Now let's continue with card reworks, starting with the one rework to a protection card. Life Giver being changed to grant lifesteal now allows Torvald to get some personal benefit from bubbling someone in the form of extra sustain. This card caps at 20% lifesteal, which is the equivalent of Life Rip 2. This card helps to keep some of Torvald's supportive nature, while also trying to move away from him being basically a support tank. On to the Nullify cards. Arcane Etching will allow Torvald to rely more on his recharge passive bonus health. The bonus shields per second cap at 20%, which equates to gaining 300 bonus shields per second. This card will be well worth it for a Nullify/self-sustain build. Infusion. Since the recent nerf to Nullify, I found many players escaping the silence because of its lowered uptime. This card can grant the Torvald player an extra half a second of Nullify if capped out. Much like Arcane Etching, this will be great for a Nullify or self-sustain build. And last of the card reworks are all of the recharge cards being changed to accommodate the new Runic Barrier. Conduction. It's a simple cooldown reduction card. I believe most barrier tanks have some card like this. The cooldown reduction will cap at 3 seconds, granting Torvald a 9-second cooldown on his shield. Eldritch Speed. I loved the movement speed card on Barrack before the devs gutted it. This card is similar to that, however it has a higher speed bonus per level, at the cost of only lasting 4 seconds, instead of Barrack's 5 seconds. This card will allow for risky plays by using the barrier for a speed boost instead of using it for cover. The card shouldn't feel too oppressive since Torvald's damage is on the low side. Induction. Again, another simple card that lets Torvald place his barrier further away than normal. One level of this card will grant Torvald an extra 20 units to place his shield. Capped out, this card will double the deploy range of the shield. This will be excellent on maps with long sightlines like Slipstone Quarry and that other map where snipers are really good. I barely play Siege, sorry. Vital Grasp. Very similar to cards existing on Barrack and Atlas. Capped out, this card will heal Torvald for 300 health a second, totaling at 900 HP gained. This allows Torvald a bit of self-sustain for when a healer is occupied. Since Cauterize is so common, this card shouldn't feel oppressive and will lose viability the longer a match goes. Okay, last up we got 2 talent reworks. Direct Current is not going to be changed as I think it's a fun and viable talent to use. However, thanks Grandpa. New effect. Increase Runic Shield's health by 2000 and increase its size by 25%. And Field Study. Increase Recharge Shield cap by 500 and hits with Gauntlet now grant 50 recharge shields. The new Thanks Grandpa is a typical barrier talent similar to the likes of Ashe and Barrack. Nothing too special about this one. Use it if you crave that extra team protection. And Field Study. Honestly, I was on the fence about this one. I was originally just gonna buff the current Field Study's bonus damage back up to 15%, but then I realized that kinda empowers the Bubblebot playstyle, which this whole rework is trying to avoid. The new talent allows Torvald to gain much easier access to his bonus shields and increases the cap to 1,500. I was originally going to make the talent double your recharge shield cap, but then I realized the potential of a 6,750 health Torvald walking around. A lot of people hate fighting ROM, and the last thing I want to do is make another ROM type character that requires hard counters to fight. Alrighty, and that's how I would rework Torvald if I could. This was my first Paladins rework concept, and I would like for you guys to let me know what you think. Is he overpowered, underpowered, fun, boring? Let me know down below. Keep in mind with most of these reworks, it's not so much the numbers that matter, but the principle. Anyways, I'm YellowNinja, and peace.